We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Friday, everybody. Look who's in the house. Superstar Stephanie Jones.
Oh, I love that I got a superstar. Thanks.
You did on that red carpet in Cannes, so tell us all about it.
It was honestly the best experience, honestly, of my entire life. I've been to a lot of red carpets and fashion weeks, and this was honestly another level. Like Boucheron, it's the start of a beautiful relationship. I'm so excited where it's going to go, but I was so honored to be a part of it. Wow. It was incredible. All
right, you got the business out of the way. Give us some tea. What happened? Who got drunk? Who fell down?
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to do that. But
you want to be invited back, you mean?
Exactly. No, you know what? It was a very fun experience, like being on the other side. So normally I'm used to being on the other side of the red carpet, like leaning over, asking the questions. Can we get the picture? But this was interesting. Like no phones, no pictures allowed. Safe to say that it was very interesting.
No stories. Who did you see?
Everyone. Jeff Bezos and his new fiancée, Lauren, which are both the loveliest people ever met. Very
you
sweet.
met them.
Huge congratulations to them. Tom Hanks, Gigi Hadid, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, Laurie Harvey, oh my gosh, the list, Salma Hayek,
Did you see
Heidi
Leo?
Klum. He was in the same hotel as me, but I didn't see him. We were staying like literally on the same corridor, which was really mad.
DiCaprio, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right?
Tori right now is fuming.
What are you talking about? I think that's fabulous.
It was really, really fabulous.
That's
it was honestly such an amazing experience. And what I can't believe genuinely is how it goes on for 14 days.
Oh my God.
So I was only there for 4, and I did one red carpet. I did multiple different events while we were there. There was a lot of network, private dinners. It was crazy. Like, there's Vogue right here, Edward, with all the team of Vogue, like Gigi Hadid, Bella, everyone is like here. Then you look here, and there's like Tom Hanks, and there's Jeff having his dinner with his new engaged fiance. It's just like the maddest experience.
Wow. And you were wearing your DBL hat, right?
No, that was safely off. But I love you guys. I felt so bad for our lovely producer, Megan, who put together the most fabulous
that was lovely,
package.
Wasn't it?
And she was like, Steph, film. And I was like, babe, NDA.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Steph, film it. Way to go, Megan. You got to shoot for the stars. All right, I'm glad you had fun. All right, so we're getting a look at the new Barbie movie starring Margot Robbie, who's now friends with Steph, and Ryan Gosling. It shows Barbie and Ken struggling as they find themselves exploring the real world. Take a look.
It's the real world. What's going on? Why are these men looking at me?
Yeah, they're also staring at me.
Barbie in the real world. That's impossible.
If this got out, this could mean extremely weird things for our world. This would be catastrophic!
We haven't played with Barbie since we were like 5 years old.
Oh.
No one rests until this doll is back in a box.
I love Will Ferrell and everything. Has the tide turned on this? Because when it first came out, a lot of people were like, I don't know if I like it. But I feel even the energy in here, people are like, I kind of want to see it.
I think it's kind of like fame or shame, it's all the same game. Like if people are gonna hate watch it or love watch it, they're still going to watch it because there's a curiosity factor. And also like Barbie is such a part of pop culture,
yes.
You know, like it just, I'm gonna watch it.
I have to say, with the director, Greta Gerwig, who is a feminist and a really cool indie director, with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, who don't pick any movie.
Right.
And the theme, after Me Too and after all this, to make fun of it and have Barbie be meta and in our world today is actually a really interesting look at what women feel like, about what we used to feel like, how we played with Barbies. I mean, it's actually going to be a quite introspective, cerebral, satirical movie. I'm so excited for it. No, I think this is going to be
those are power words.
Better than we think. And it's going to be a lot about the female experience, about being boxed, about being not boxed, about being moving
like
on.
Commentary.
Yeah, I really think that's the right word. Thank you. Commentary.
Well, you use some pretty good ones.
Too many.
I feel like Tori's come dressed perfectly to talk about
I'm the
this
Jewish
today.
Barbie. I'm Barbara Schulman, and instead of Malibu, I go to Boca.
That was funny. That was funny.
Okay.
Should we not talk the rest of the show? Because Tori got to laugh like it's over.
Oh my God.
I'm leaving.
Run packages the rest of the show. Tori's off for Memorial Day. Are you going to check this out, Steph?
Oh yeah, I'm dying to see it. I mean, I was dying to see it way back when everyone was like making fun of it, and I didn't realise it was going to be as complex as it is. I thought it was going to be a lot more of a basic storyline. But I liked it when they were saying, you know, oh, Ken's a bit of a loser. I was, yeah, so I was trying to think of a nice word to say for that, and you know, Barbie's discovering this whole new world, so I was excited for that. But also, love Margot Robbie. Yeah. Think Ryan's fantastic. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
It's going to be good.
All right. So did Whoopi Goldberg just throw her own network under the bus while having a discussion about reality TV on The View? Whoopi said that American Idol, which also airs on ABC, was the beginning of the downfall of society. It's pretty harsh. Watch.
Once we gave people the ability to judge other people, I think we ran amok with it, and it's gone out of control.
So Whoopi clarified she was talking about the first version of American Idol that began back in 2002 and launched the careers of stars like Kelly Clarkson, Jennifer Hudson, and Carrie Underwood. How'd you take that, what Whoopi said?
I understood exactly what she meant, and but also, who hasn't been guilty at some point of saying something that has been misconstrued and really kind of like shooting yourself in the foot?
Not me.
When it comes to, I mean, people will bite the hand that feeds them, whether it's intentional or inadvertent, all the time. So at least she clarified, and I do understand what she means, because not only with American Idol were people judging the talent in terms of voting, but that was also the first time that there was like an open door policy of publicly making fun of people for all sorts of things, whether they were in their control or not. And it really kind of opened the door for that. And I think that it was a situation where you had Simon Cowell, he wasn't American, but he is on American Idol, and he had license to berate people, and it was okay, and that never stopped until recently.
It wasn't just okay, we like wanted more of it. Remember the beginnings, it was just bad singers a lot of the time, the opening.
That was my favorite, to be honest.
I loved it.
And also, here's the other thing is that I remember Jennifer Hudson getting up there, and he goes, you look like a Q-tip. And she goes, you don't like it, Simon? And I'm like, look at her now. And the way that people treated the artist then, I completely agree with you.
That's awful. I didn't know that. That's horrendous.
Well, he was always like that.
Well, it was everyone. No one really got a pass.
No. But yeah, I thought, I get what she's saying about pop culture and how it is leaning towards judgment rather than entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like that's changing so much now, because now with cancel culture and everyone being so aware, it's definitely like, it's not like it used to be. But I think that's a sign of the times changing, people being more aware, more woke, more considerate, kinder people.
Nicer people,
Yeah, so I think it is, for me personally, not for the mean comments, but like, I think now it lacks luster compared to what it was. Like, I think it was so different. It was so unique. It was something that we'd never seen before. It was a completely different format, which is why it worked. That's why people tuned in by the millions, and now they don't. Now it's not dying by any means, but it's not doing anywhere near as well.
Yeah.
We're ready for the next
I kind of
thing.
miss it. I kind of miss it.
You miss the Simon, though, huh?
I miss the tough love.
Yeah, the jabs.
I mean?
Yeah.
But that wasn't even love.
But it's like everything's great and everyone's perfect and everyone looks beautiful. It's not true.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It still goes on. Life goes on. There's still a pecking order. There's still comments to be made. You grow from those comments. Jennifer Hudson did. She's doing just fine.
She's amazing.
Yeah, but Jennifer Hudson was also undervalued, so there was
But I always think the people that come like the third, the fourth,
They're always going to do better.
They always do better than the winner. Always.
I was going to make a rude comment, but it wouldn't have came off as that joke. Coming up on DBL, we're chatting about the age-old question, can men and women really just be friends? Plus our interview with Chrissy Metz. She tells us about her new role as a single mother struggling to stay awake during her battle with addiction.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point. But I'm going to have a conversation about what's happening now.
The U.S. military reports that the average age of its service members is 30. Ads on social media suggest the armed forces are now recruiting from the nation's older population. So, can seniors join the military as the ads imply? Let's verify. Our sources are the Department of Defense, the National Defense Authorization Act, and AARP. The Department of Defense tells us they aren't running any ads on social media calling on seniors for military service. Congress sets age limits to enlist in active duty. U.S. law states you can be no younger than 17 and no older than 42. So high school seniors can join, but the law does not allow a senior citizen to enlist in the active military. At one time, the maximum age was 35, but the National Defense Authorization Act that passed in 2006 increased the age to 42 to help with military recruitment. According to its website, the Army can lift some age restrictions depending on need. AARP's website features several seniors who switched careers following the September 11th attacks.
I had been trained by the Army. I was always considered myself a soldier.
Colonel Frederick Lowe left the Army in 1987, only to join the U.S. Army Medical Corps Reserves at the age of 58 and was deployed as a surgeon to Afghanistan. There are civilian jobs in the military. The Department of Defense tells us there are no age restrictions when it comes to those positions. So we can verify that, no, in general, seniors can't join the active military. Any opportunities for the country's older population related to the military would be civilian jobs.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verified newsletter answers your questions, clarifies what's true and false, and even includes a daily fun fact. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Welcome back.
Sorry.
Something in the break. It's an age-old question. Can men and women just be friends? There's a new series that's diving into that very question. Take a look.
Your friendship with Will is not built for this phase of life.
Oh, geez. This is how a woman experiences a midlife crisis.
You're like a couple of teenage girls. Your whole thing is so weird and destructive.
Can you believe she said we were destructive?
No, we're exactly the opposite.
We are constructive.
We're constructive.
They're good together. Remember that movie When Harry Met Sally asked the exact question? So what do you guys think? Can adults be friends with someone of the opposite sex?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, we're friends.
Yeah, but I'm trying to push that because I think we can, right? I think we can. Would you let your friend sleep over with Anthony when you weren't home?
Like a girl?
No.
Yeah.
Why would she be there?
I don't know. She needed a place to stay. You're just friends.
Yeah. No.
I'm trying to push the question
Okay, what
here.
about this? What about this? Would you allow Anthony to go out at happy hour with just girls from the office?
I don't allow him to do any.
Or women. I should have said girls.
I don't control
no,
my
but you'd
husband.
Be okay. I agree. Would you be okay
and he
with
doesn't
that?
control me.
No, of course.
No. Yes, of course. I mean, what's the problem with that? I trust my husband.
Right.
I don't need to be with him 24/7 to know that he's going to make the right decisions.
I think that's.
How about a weekend? Well, I gave the overnight one.
The weekend's too much.
The weekend, like going away?
I don't know. They just told me in my ear. I'm trying to get through Friday.
Why am I not there? What happened to me?
I'll tell you this, and this is a true thing, and I'm not going to say who it is. Someone contacted me and said, how would you feel? And I said, it would be an absolute hard, categoric, no way. I can't believe this is even a conversation. So her fiance was friends with a bunch of girls from high school or college or whatever, and it was one of their bachelorettes, and he was going to be the only guy going on the bachelorette, and there was like 10 of them and him, and she was like, I don't know how I feel about it because they're long-term friends, and I was like, no. There's no reason he has to be there. I understand it's his friend and you can support them, go to the wedding. Are you going? She was like, no, I'm not invited. And I was like, no.
See, now I'm looking at that friend sideways because I wouldn't even fix my mouth to say something like that. Like, to me, I wouldn't.
I know, that's funny though.
I wouldn't, because I think that you have to be, and this is any situation where there is, and it doesn't just have to be a man and a woman. Anytime there's a situation where there could potentially be an interest there, you can't. That's disrespectful to someone's spouse or partner to even approach that. Like, if there's 10 women, then y'all should just go. But to add this guy, nah, dog. Nah.
I do want to stand up, however, for platonic relationships of the opposite sex. I think it's important that we don't forget that those are. I learn a lot about men from you and Al and people like that. And I learned a lot about your experience. And I think if you shut that out when you get married or with a spouse, you lose a perspective.
No, but I think it's very different, like having a coffee or as a group we all go out for dinner or drinks, whatever. That's very different to like a weekend solo or just staying over at your house when your husband's not there. That's very different.
There's levels, but I think it's nice to be able to mix the two in a very platonic way. I think that's important to see the other perspective.
How about taking your man to the Abbey at 1 in the morning?
Oh, see.
Vanderpump. Anyone catch that?
What's wrong with that? That's fun.
Well,
that's Sandoval and Raquel. That's how it all started.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's how it starts. Coming up on DBL, our interview with actress Chrissy Metz. She tells us how she drove the struggle bus to her This Is Us audition.
If summertime had a smell, it might be that of fresh sunscreen, sometimes wafting through the air. And with the rise of popularity of spray-on sunscreen, we are going to verify, does it work as well as good old-fashioned lotion sunscreen? We dove into several sources to find out the answer for this one, and yes, we can verify spray sunscreen is just as effective as lotion, but both require proper use.
The best sunscreen is the one that you like to wear. It's important to have adequate coverage on your skin.
That means you might not be using as much as you should be. For cream or lotion-based, experts recommend about enough to fill a shot glass on the average adult. There's a decent amount of sunscreen in there. And when it comes to the spray stuff, make sure you're actually applying it.
One of the things I've seen is spraying of spray sunscreen into the wind, essentially. Maybe a little bit of it landed on the person, but most of it floated off in the breeze.
So when it's time to apply, consider going somewhere without a breeze or even inside. And make sure you are nowhere near a grill or an open flame. As the American Academy of Dermatology explains, aerosol sunscreen can sometimes be flammable. The FDA says not to use spray sunscreen on your face or to inhale it. And this is not a spritz and go situation, no matter what the bottle says. Dermatologists recommend to make sure it's being used effectively to spray it close to the skin in a layer that's thick enough so your skin actually starts to look wet, and then you rub it in. No matter what kind of sunscreen you're using, make sure you apply it at least 15 minutes before sun exposure so it has time to kick in, and make sure you reapply. Dermatologists told me time and time again, not reapplying is the biggest sunscreen mistake they see. The recommendation is at least every 2 hours, more often if you're swimming or if you're sweating. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back to DBL. You know our next guest best from This Is Us, and now she's giving us another must-watch pull on our heartstrings for her portrayal of a single mother battling addiction. Her list of achievements doesn't end there because she can now add winemaker to the resume. Earlier, we spoke with Chrissy Metz.
Well, we're so excited to have you back on and talk about your role in Stay Awake. So you play a mom of 2 teenage boys struggling with addiction to painkillers. So how has your role helped you better understand addiction?
Well, you know, I have food issues myself, so I understand what that is like. I think a lot of people can understand what it's like to want to fill a void with something, whether it's social media, attention, gambling, food, you know, spending, all of the things. We're all filling a void with something. And so for me, food has been sort of my crutch. And so I understood Michelle in this role. I also understood how important it was to not villainize and demonize an addict, but also how important it was for the perspective of the caretakers and who and her sons are taking care of her, and they don't understand why she can't kick this addiction. And so it's very nuanced, it's very complicated, and you know, she's doing her best to live her best life and obviously for her children, but she's having a really rough go of it. So it was very complex. It was a tough role to portray, for sure.
That is a huge challenge. I kind of want to go off of what you just said about the caretakers. In the film, we see your characters' 2 sons make big sacrifices to care for their mom. And I wanted to ask you, why do you think it's important for the caretakers who suffer from the addiction indirectly to also have their story told?
Oh, well, we don't really see it often. Right. It's usually from the point of view of the addict. And so the caretakers, I mean, they're suffering with the addiction and with the person, you know, who was suffering with the addiction. And so it's important because there's so much sacrifice that goes into it, and a lot of placating. And these kids in particular are parentified children. I mean, they're literally taking care of their mom, and out of the goodness of their heart. But it's like, they also deserve to be kids and to live the life that they are meant to live. And so it's hard. It's a hard journey to watch and to understand, but to empathize and hopefully open people's hearts and minds to this other perspective that we don't see often.
I'm just really glad you're shining a light on that.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Chrissy, to switch gears here a little bit. For anyone that doesn't know, today is National Wine Day, which is why I'm drunk. So, Chrissy,
I knew it.
You recently started your own wine company, Joyful Heart Wine. What made you get into wine? This is so cool.
I love the packaging on the bottle, by the way.
Thank you. That was really important. I think so many times we obviously buy anything with our eyes, and so the label was really important for me. Also, I want to live my life with a joyful heart, and so that was also very important. Was the label and the name, and also we donate $1 from each bottle to World Central Kitchen, which are on the front lines of helping with food crisis all over the globe. And so initially with wine, I was like, this is so pretentious. Like, I don't understand it. What in the world? People with the oaks and the tannins and the legs. And I'm like, whatever. And then you realize and you see the science behind it and how, I mean, it is hard work to produce a bottle. You're like, this is kind of a miracle, because we're talking about the sun and the soil and the science behind it. So it was really about wanting to understand the wine, whole industry, but also the wine. And for me, it's like, if you like the wine, you should drink the wine. You shouldn't drink it because you think you're supposed to like it.
Right.
So I was like, we are determined to find a blend and wine that I can be proud to share with people, but also enjoy drinking because it's delicious.
Good for you. I can't wait to have it.
I hope you love it. What do you think?
Yes.
I will. Okay, so I have to ask you this. We only have about 30 seconds. It's been a year since This Is Us ended, and you had such a successful run. But before booking the role of Kate, did you ever struggle to make it? We love hearing these stories.
Are you kidding? 81 cents in my bank account, had to borrow money to go to the audition, was ready to move back home to Florida.
Wow.
I was on the struggle bus. I was driving the struggle bus. For sure.
She's like, beep, beep, beep.
Sure.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, I was like, beep, beep. Right.
And then the car down.
Yeah, that's amazing. It is always a pleasure to have you on. Congratulations on all your recent success. So well deserved. DBL Nation, Stay Awake is in theaters now, and you can also celebrate National Wine Day with a delicious bottle of Joyful Heart wine, where a portion of the proceeds goes to charity. Thanks again, Chrissy. We'll be right back.
Cheers. Bye. Cheers.
We can pin responsibilities on our parents for a lot of things, but can we blame them for our sneezing, wheezing, and allergic reactions? The question, are your allergies largely inherited? Let's verify.
Our source is Dr. Alec Gupta, allergist with Atrium Health, the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, and the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic explains when you have allergies, what's happening is this. Your immune system makes antibodies that identify an allergen as harmful when it isn't. Your immune system then reacts, activating inflammation of the skin, sinuses, airways, or digestive system.
And those allergies are often passed down from parents to children, according to the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology.
Food allergies, seasonal allergies, asthma, some forms of asthma, eczema, they all fall under this kind of category. If your parents had one of those things, then the risk is that your child could be more genetically susceptible to developing one of those other things.
Dr. Gupta says the risk of having an allergy increases when one or both parents have one. However, that doesn't mean their children will have the exact same allergy.
Even if both parents had the shrimp allergy, doesn't necessarily mean that you're at a higher risk of having a shrimp allergy. You could have a higher risk of having eczema.
Dr. Gupta says it also doesn't mean these inherited allergies will always show up.
Or if your parents had that genetic, not necessarily dysfunction, but just kind of change, then you have that genetic change. It doesn't always show up.
So we can verify that yes, susceptibility to allergies is largely inherited. However, that doesn't mean you will display the exact same allergic reactions as your parents do. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
People are posting pictures of what their hair looked like before and after having COVID-19. They claim the virus caused them to lose their hair. But is that true? Can a COVID-19 infection cause hair loss? Let's verify. Our sources are the American Academy of Dermatology, the Cleveland Clinic, the University of Utah Health, and Dr. Kimberly Salke, Associate Professor and Residency Program Director in the Department of Dermatology at VCU School of Medicine. Our experts, including Dr. Salke, say a COVID-19 infection can absolutely cause hair loss.
Usually about 6 weeks or so after, say, the worst part of the infection, meaning the most symptomatic part, patients can start to notice a lot of hair shedding that happens all at once.
According to the Cleveland Clinic, at any given time, we're losing about 5% of our hair through normal shedding. That quantity jumps to about 50% when we experience a major stress event, like having COVID-19.
The type of hair loss we see with it is one called telogen effluvium. And this is our medical term for stress-related hair loss.
So we can verify, yes, a COVID-19 infection can cause hair loss. But it's only temporary, according to Salke and medical experts at the American Academy of Dermatology, the Cleveland Clinic, and the University of Utah Health.
Not permanent, but can definitely be a long course.
With your Verify, I'm Adiante Till.
Welcome back. If you want your backyard to look expensive, we have some tips to help transform your space even on a budget. Here's how to revamp your outdoor space with Sunsetter. Outdoor furniture gets left out in the rain, and sometimes it only looks good for a single summer. Give your old furniture a new lease on life with a coat of fresh paint. This one's important. Next, bring the soft furnishings out, like cushions, external pillows, and pads. Give a lounge a more comfort area. I don't know. Just remember to bring them inside during bad weather. Finally, washing down your patio tables and chairs. It goes a long way and will instantly transform your space without the price tag. With affordable and custom features without the custom price, Sunsetter is America's #1 best-selling awning. Spend more time outside and get the best value with Sunsetter. It's been an industry leader for 30 years. Call 800-513-6851 or visit sunsetter.com for guaranteed pricing on American-made awnings built to last. See, I tried to get sarcastic there about the pillows, and it backfired on me. I'm not a big pillow fan.
Well, apparently it's guys who are from Chicago or mamas are Italian, because Anthony has been gradually stealing a pillow from the little day bed outside,
which I love,
every single day.
Good for him.
Every day there's one less pillow.
What's wrong with pillows?
I love pillows.
It's too much.
Too much?
Guys, we don't need pillows. Just I want to sit down.
What if we do?
But you can move the pillows so that it's more comfortable when you sit down.
No, it's just a more
It's a day bed.
No, it's more things. I don't need more things. I need more time.
All I know is I better have the same amount of pillows at my house as when I left.
Tell Anthony we're going to go on vacation to a pillowless country.
No pillows!
Have a great Memorial Day weekend with no pillows.